Yo, what's up guys? Sam here, welcome back to Volted. I've been road tripping in my Tesla Model 3 a lot, and I want to tell you guys how it is, because it's a question I get all the time, like, how do you actually charge the car? Like, aren't there only chargers in specific stations, and how much does it cost, and is it worth it, and is it annoying to charge? I want to answer all those questions in this video because I've road tripped all the way from St. Louis to California, like a 3,400-mile road trip. I road trip from St. Louis to Chicago regularly, which is like, around 300-400 miles. And it's all been pretty good. That's where I want to start. It's not as bad or annoying as you might think it would be. That being said, I've seen this sentiment a lot lately that I wanted to address from my perspective that, road tripping in a Tesla Model 3, the best experience ever, couldn't ever go back to a gas car, the most amazing trip of my life. And a lot of that is true. For example, the cost of charging is so much cheaper than gas. I think it cost my girlfriend and I less than $100 to go from St. Louis to California. Like $100 to get nearly halfway across the country. That's a pretty good deal. In a gas car, it would have been $200, $300, $400. So the cost of electric being super cheap is incredible. That part is something I appreciate. Where the problem comes in is when you're not on like a day trip or a one-way trip somewhere. So when I go up to Chicago, I have to charge one time in between St. Louis and Chicago. If I leave St. Louis with like 100%, I'll charge in like Bloomington, Illinois. That's like the halfway point where there is a Tesla Supercharger. There's also a couple of others along the way. So like if you don't leave with 100%, again, you're going to be all right. There are tons of these Superchargers in the United States now. But if you're going anywhere else, for example, let's say to California, we had to charge a total of probably 10 or 12 times on the way out there. And when you do that, you have to stop for about 40 minutes every time from start to finish, because it takes about 40 minutes to get your Tesla on the V2 version of the Superchargers, which are mostly everywhere right now, from 0 to 90%. Now you can charge to 100%, but charging that extra 10% takes like an additional 20 or 25 minutes, so I've not personally found it worth it. So basically we were charging from 5 or 10 to 90% each and every time we stopped. And it worked pretty well, because usually it'd be at a restaurant or it'd be at a place where you would want to use the restroom. But there were also many times where we just wanted to get there. Like when you're on day 3 of road tripping to California, anybody in the comments knows this, or road tripping to anywhere cross country in the US, like day 3, you don't want to stop to charge 3 times for 40 minutes each and spend nearly 2 hours just chilling, or nearly 3 hours if you charge a little bit longer at some places or stop. Like, it gets annoying really quick. And for me, that's been like the number one point of contention here. And while the experience, for example, I have AutoPilot on my car. Using AutoPilot to go across the country is phenomenal. Even when I was tired, I didn't have to like micro adjust and focus on the road. And I felt a lot safer, especially when it was 2 a.m. and we're still on the road, or if it's 4 or 5 a.m. and we just decided to leave early. That part was amazing. AutoPilot made the entire trip worth it, and that's why I wasn't like mad the entire way that we had to stop and charge. But when you are on day 3 and you're really tired, or even on day 2 and you just want to get going, you can go to a gas station, you can fill up in 5 minutes, be back on the road, have an additional 400 or 500 miles of range before you got to fill up again. With the Tesla, when you're charging to 90%, you're only getting about 280 rated miles. And if you bump that speed up past 70, I'm going to throw this out there. If you're doing 90 in a Tesla on the highway, the miles drain essentially twice as fast. So if it says 280, you're actually only going to be getting about 140 before you have to fill up again at another charging station, or something, very similar, like a 1.8x drain or 1.5x drain. And sorry for everybody else in the world that uses kilometers per hour. Just know that if you bump the speed up past like the actual speed limit, the car drains really quick, and that means you have to fill up even more. And when you're on a long road trip, you want to drive a little bit faster when you're on a dead stretch of highway, but the battery depletes super quickly. Now, don't get me wrong, this is also true in a gas car. If you're doing 90 or 100 hypothetically in a gas car, yeah, you're going to burn a ton more gas. It's also going to drain your tank a lot quicker, significantly quicker. But it was just something that hit me. When you already have less maximum range than a gas vehicle, and then you bump it up, it's like, damn, I feel like we just filled up a couple minutes ago. And I just want to throw that perspective out there, because I really have been seeing it thrown around all the time that there is no issue with range anymore and EVs are perfect and there's no flaws at all, especially like in the Tesla community. And I just want to be real with you guys. Like, yeah, the car is amazing. I would never have traded it for a gas car on the same route, even if I could do it again, because AutoPilot was the make or break point for me. The price of electric, again, like that was so worth it. But there are caveats that I want to make you guys aware of. And again, if you're going on a day trip, it doesn't really bother you to charge once. If you're going somewhere like St. Louis to Chicago, less than 400 miles, you might need to charge once on the way. I know the way I drive, I have to charge once on the way up there. But if you do a multi-day trip, you're going to be charging a number of times in a day, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 times if you're driving just hundreds and hundreds of miles at once. And it does get a little tedious when you're at the end of your wits from driving all day, you're losing your mind. You just gotta sit still for 40 minutes. Now, Tesla's working on new superchargers to mitigate this. I think knocking the total charge time close to in half, but definitely knocking like about 30% of the charge time off with the new V3 superchargers. I don't have any of those near me. When I was going out to California, they weren't rolled out anywhere yet. So I have never gotten to experience them, but I've heard it's incredible. I've heard you can definitely feel the difference if you have a Model 3. But I didn't have that. For those of you that have a Tesla, sound off in the comments down below, or another electric vehicle. I'd love to hear your perspective. And for anybody like looking to get a car and is maybe doing this, watching this video as part of like the research and buying a Tesla or another electric vehicle, first of all, use my referral link down below so I can get a free Tesla Roadster. I feel like it'd be awesome if that happens. So if you guys want to buy a Tesla, use my link down below. That'd be pretty dope. But in all seriousness, I do want to hear your guys' perspectives down below. So if you're a gas car owner, like let us know how road tripping on that is. It's definitely a lot faster to get from point A to point B, but you know, the environment, not looking so great. Cost of gas not looking so great. No AutoPilot not looking so great. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you found it useful or informative. If you did, drop a like down below. It does seriously help me and the channel out. And Volted's new, so hit subscribe. Help us grow a little bit. Help us become the best EV channel on YouTube and overtake Tesla maybe. That would be pretty cool. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Thanks again for watching. You guys are the best, and I'll talk to you in my next video.